Welcome to Focus. This segment is an opportunity for us to focus on what matters with people, places, and things. I'm your photographer, Darrell Everidge.
And on this episode of Focus, I sit down with Monroe Mayor John Howard. We talk about the things that are going on in the city and things to come. And Mayor Howard, thanks for being back on Focus again. It's our second time on this.
I know, and I appreciate the opportunity. And time has certainly flown.
It has. A lot has happened in Monroe since the last time that we talked. I think the big thing then was, when are we getting a Publix? And now we can see that
it's coming out of the ground.
Right.
We'll be selling groceries. They will be selling groceries, I'm guessing January. As a matter of fact, they are telling you right now that there's no doubt they will be selling groceries in January.
Wow. So that's been happening pretty quick, and yet it seems like it's been a long time too.
Right.
So.
Well, I was telling my friend Jason Sam, sometimes things seem to move at a snail's pace until you look back from 3 years ago and realize all the things that have been accomplished, all the things that have gone on. So we're in a real good spot right now.
Okay, and tell us a little bit. The election's coming up this year,
right.
And as of right now, do you have an opponent?
Nobody's come forth yet. As far as I know, somebody might have qualified this morning. At this time, we have a real good quality council. People who are up for election. Tyler Gregory, he took Wayne Adcock's place in a special election. So officially, he's up for his first elected full term. Tyler's been extremely engaged. He's finance committee chairman. He works very closely with Beth Thompson, our finance director. Ross Bradley, probably really the most well-liked guy in town. I mean, I haven't found a fault in Ross. And then David Dickinson he's just one of the best people I know. We don't see things eye to eye a lot, and I'm fine with that. And we don't all need a bunch of yes men, but I want somebody who's going to stick with his convictions, and that's David. David's a former mayor. He's an attorney. He is very methodical in his approach to handling the business of the city. And then I'm up for election too. So,
and I know that he was really the forefront of don't put that jail over here on
right.
Church Street. And I know that you met with the chairman.
Right.
And you two got together. Can you tell us a little bit about that meeting?
The chairman came in, and he's a good man. He is following through with what he said he was going to do. Perfect storm would have been, hey, I'm going to tell the folks that I'm putting in at church in Hammond, we're going to get them all fired up. Then we're going to move it. They're going to get a win. And I'm going to get to do some of the other things that folks may not have thought about. And I think preferably for us, I think probably for everybody in the city, we know it needs to be in the city limits, but preferably it would be at Cherry Hill. I think that would be a great place. It's industrial. Our public works is out there. You could also outsource the prisoners, $4 million a year. Do that for 30 years, and you're only spending $120 million. And that's not realistic, of course. Another option would be move streets and transportation from where they are right now to the Cherry Hill corridor, and then rebuild on the same site as the current jail. They've not wanted to do that. Apparently, he said the hydrology is not good for more than 630 beds there. So he wants to be able to expand. And, David's doing this from an approach of what's best for Walton County for the next 30 years. I think the Baker Street, really is Georgia Avenue. That's the name of the road that leads right in front of the county building. Efficiency-wise, that is their targeted approach. Now, when you take into account the amount of total money that's being spent on the jail, the mental health facility, the drug rehab treatment center, and I don't really know his exact titles for it. It's a lot of money, and how do we pay for it? We have, I think, $29 million in the bank from the previous SPLOST. So, David's a banker, very creative, very smart. Financially, I'm sure he'll put Walton County in a position to not penalize those of us who want to make the area safer. So there are a lot of options for different places that I would prefer the jail go. But, I understand efficiency-wise, that's what they want to do. I will say this. Part of the reason for the new jail, there are two reasons. One is just not big enough. The state's not doing their part in taking the inmates that we have. They were supposed to come last week and pick up 40 prisoners, and they only took one. So the state system is frankly an embarrassment. I would be willing to bet that almost 100% of the prisoners that we have in our jail, really in our jail system, let's say 90% of the prisoners in our jail system, either have a learning disability, they're dyslexic, they have a processing issue, they have a drug issue. Drugs a terrible part of it. And then the third, they have mental health issues. Well, the governor several years ago shut down our mental health system. So Joe Chapman, our sheriff, who's a good man, is not going to let those folks out in society if they don't have any place to go. So we have a lot of issues that influence the growth of our jail. I'm sure that the chairman will make the most wise decision, but I do really have concerns. The second issue with current jail, and most important issue, it's a terrible design. And Sheriff Chapman has said it is not safe. There are places in that jail, blind spaces, where cameras can't even see, and that's not safe for any of the deputies, much less the inmates, or not safe for the inmates, much less the deputies. So to have that, to have a new jail, wherever it may finally reside, keeping that as a detention center unquestionably can't happen. If it's unsafe now, it's not safe enough to keep women, youth, or immigrations and customs. Plus, I don't want people bringing additional prisoners to our town. We don't need it.
So the site at Church Street is off the
site at Church and Hammond. He is committed to moving it from that location.
Where would you like to see it?
Cherry Hill. That doesn't make the most sense efficiency-wise, but I know the Carrolls live there, love Tyrone and Clarice, and they would be fine with it. I talked to them again at the farmers market on Saturday. Please go support her. She's wonderful. It's Public Works is out there. It's an industrial area. It's out of the way. Probably not great to see a jail from 78 as you enter the city, but still is it the chosen location from the majority of the folks who live in the city that I've heard from? Yes. But again, and I said this when I was interviewed originally. I was interviewed by Monroe Local and the Walton Tribune, and both via email, and I replied, I would rather deal with where jail goes than I would with having to let prisoners out because we can't house them. We've had to turn away a lot of folks just because we don't have space for them. So,
and many mayors across the state don't even deal with a jail going somewhere. It's kind of something that was thrown your way. So
Well, I don't, the good news is I don't. We will deal with it as a city. I grew up here. I've seen our downtown starved I have seen us battle weather-related incidents since 1993 when the downburst happened and knocked down, several buildings in town. We've seen issues, and we'll deal with whatever comes. We're in very good shape right now. Downtown, again, I think most folks know, have been ranked the #1 downtown in the state. We're a Georgia exception on Main Street. Our events draw thousands whenever we do anything. We had Dino Day last week. There were people everywhere. So Sadie and Leanne have just done an outstanding job. Public Works does an outstanding job working with them, keeping things clean. They're delivering 60 tons of trash to our landfill or transfer station on an annual basis. That doesn't even count the amount that when Chris Couch, who's a friend of mine, works with the county, takes the they're inmates, the community service folks out, picks up trash along the roadways on McDaniel, Ammons Bridge, through town, and he takes a couple of tons a week. I mean, so you're talking hundreds of thousands of pounds of trash that is generated not only, of course, by our events, but just the day-to-day maintenance of our area.
And, the police department's moved over in the old Food Line building, and
That's exciting.
that section of town over there.
Right.
Is there any plans to revitalize that section? It seems like everything goes over to the Walmart section over there,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems like that's full over there,
Sure, I get it. And what's really interesting and very good, #1 for downtown, they came in to the middle of downtown at an area that things were starting to revitalize. We have a lot of presence in town, which is great. Now everything's full. The old Food Lion, which was I don't even know what the name of that was, but we're calling it Blaine Station now. But that building was empty, and we found a way to get that. So we have renovated everything in there. The police station's now moved. Everybody's working out of there. We will give the old PD on Broad Street to Downtown Development Authority so they can do a request for proposal and have several bids and several options on what to expect. And that's probably, ideally, that would be a boutique hotel. Plenty of parking in the back, which will also, that parking lot on Wayne Street, as Wayne Street is being redone, that area will be revitalized. And as the PD has moved in to the new Blaine Station, we'll have a master plan concept before council in October. So it will be doing more mixed use out there. We have, and I said this when we talked, 24 months ago, we have more projects in more areas of town than we ever have in my entire life. And we're heading in the right direction in every area. And when you get out there, you look at First Christian Church, the county building, New Beginnings. You have the area on Hammond that's been building out with Gerald Hill CPA. We have dance studio over there. Athens Tech, we've addressed the field. We took down the old press box that was dangerous and dilapidated. You'll see mixed use in the parking lot that is Blaine Station now, which will be turned into future businesses and residential opportunities. So that side of town is definitely being addressed, and it's exciting.
What do you contribute to such growth here in the city?
Well, I would definitely be remiss if I didn't say our national economy plays a good, strong role in it. But you also look at #1, people who are moving to town, which is great. Retail opportunities, which are growing and gosh, they're increasing every day. You look at the Publix is coming, the Five Below Ross, Marshalls, Ulta Beauty, Planet Fitness, Planet Smoothie, Huey Magoo's. So opportunities. Southern Brewing, which is actually a tourist spot. Folks come here for the brewery concept. We're redoing our downtown green, which is, folks see it now as that we've purchased the property. We'll start construction there in November. And that is going to be the crown jewel of our park system. Piedmont Hospital is now one of the top 10 hospitals in the state. Our school system has just been ranked among the top in the nation. And Nathan Franklin's done an excellent job there. We have private school opportunities here with George Walton in great shape with Gary Hobbs taking over. We have Monroe Country Day School with Rita Dickinson, who's just taken over the old, used to be a high school, but it was a community center for us. And the reason we ended up renting it and hopefully long-term selling it to her, it was costing $50,000 a year. Folks weren't using it. It just was not being used for the intended purposes. And there's no reason to ding the taxpayers for $50,000 a year when we can actually keep us from losing money.
And the Town Green is going to have an amphitheater there.
Town Green will have an amphitheater, bathroom, of course, sidewalks, benches, splash pad, and a fountain.
And the amphitheater is going to be situated where the stage is?
Right.
Okay.
Right. So you'll be sitting in the lawn like we do our concerts now, and look back over at Southern Ox, and co-work at the Metro, that space over there. And if you're looking at that, to your left, there'll be some townhomes that are under construction on Madison that should start last month. So, we should see something happen there very quickly.
And we saw the residents out of Conestoga Trailer Park move out of there
right.
in the past, and that property is sitting empty. Do you know what is plans for that?
Actually, I do. That came in front of Planning Commission, I believe, last night. That was probably the most painful moment as mayor, and I apologize. That was the most painful moment as mayor because we severely impacted 63 residents. Number one, they were forced to move. The owners, what nobody knew is the owners of the property, the two brothers out of Forsyth County, let the sewer collapse. It was unsafe. Somebody had sabotaged the junction boxes over there. So they were just asking for a fire after we gave notice that in 60 days this is going to happen. I wanted to give an extension there, but when we found out about that sabotage, they just had to go. Nobody wants to have that impact. Number one, on the men and women and children living there. But number two, if you really want to get down to it, they're averaging $1,000 a month in utilities. They were not obviously very efficient, but I don't want to take $63,000 a month and just kiss it goodbye. So anyway, what happened once that was shut down, and I hope all 63 of those families are in better shape. I do know for a fact that most of them are. And I also don't know for a fact that any of them is not in better shape. I haven't heard about all of them. But what is happening there, and it's funny, you see all the keyboard jockeys in Facebook commentary of it's all about the money. No, it's not about the money. It's about the safety. Preferably for me, those owners would have sold to another similar property who would have come in, fixed up everything that was in there, and sent it right back to the same folks. Apparently they were asking a ridiculous amount of money, and I don't know the way it ended up going, but it's going back to a commercial industrial feel. So I don't think there'll be any more residential over there at all. But as far as the city is concerned, we don't have any wishes on or any financial input or benefit from what happens over there, other than we want it to be loved and used and safe.
And as a mayor, someone who's an elected official, what do you think about social media? Is it a love-hate relationship, or?
Well, you certainly know people's feelings. I do. I am very active on social media, and frankly, I'll when people reach out, I will answer. Some folks don't like decisions I make, and I can give valid reasons. And if we all made the same decision, we wouldn't need anybody else. I can just say, okay, this is the way we feel today, and this is the direction we're heading. But I will make every single decision based on what I think is in the best interest of the people of the city of Monroe. So far, we're batting a pretty good average.
And what about the North Broad Street area over there? There's some questionable neighborhoods over there.
Well, when we say questionable neighborhoods, we've had some things that have gone on in a couple of those neighborhoods that you wish didn't happen. Shootings, drug-related issues, assaults, this, that, and the other thing. And folks say, well, why don't you just shut it down? Well, no, number one, I can't shut it down. But number two, were we to go in and shut it down, I can tell you there are some very, very good people who live there. People who live, and we'll take, and frankly, I'm thinking you're talking about Tanglewood. People on fixed income who pay their rent religiously. They have nice places. They're kept up well. But there are also some people in there who've rented to some questionable suspects. And if you notice, every time there is a shooting or a drug bust, it's not a bunch of folks from Monroe. There are people who are from Monroe who live in there, and that's happened, but it's always somebody coming from outside the area who doesn't need to be here. The phrase "rising tide lifts all boats," one of my favorites. We bring in more better commercial, industrial, retail, and residential opportunities. Property values rise. And the owners of those that have been taking really less than fair market value and just leaving their place slums are going to realize that there are financial benefits to fixing up their places, getting out the riffraff, and bringing in the quality folks. And if you have a quality person in your place who's kept it nice, you're going to keep a quality person in your place who keeps it nice. But there's some that really need to be addressed.
And, the bypass has been on the table for as long as I've been alive.
July.
So is the business folks in downtown, are they in support of this? Because in past years, people say, well, if they have the bypass, people won't come into town, they won't shop.
If you, those folks who have said that, the two main opponents of the truck route are no longer in town. I mean, no longer own businesses in town. But I can look at Stripling's and tell you that if you have quality products and quality service, folks are going to come to you. So, and I use Stripling's because it's kind of middle of nowhere. It's 20 minutes from here, and it stays packed night and day. Right on 78, it's not real easy access for more than about 100 people. Ross Bradley, when he was managing Amici, said, my goal is to dominate in a half mile radius. We'll never have to worry about advertising again. I mean, that's true. You dominate your area. If you're a good quality product, good quality service, you're going to do very well. Plus, 90% of the truck traffic is going to be gone day one when that truck route goes through. We really, the budget lets in July, a year from now, and construction should begin immediately. They are in the process right now of acquiring properties and doing some engineering work. But that's a state project, so I don't really have anything to do with it other than we went and begged and begged and begged, and now they finally came to the table. And
I think everybody's ready for it.
Oh, sure.
And there's, speaking of traffic, and there's a lot in downtown. And
right.
Some of the pedestrians have been outside of a crosswalk and have encountered cars. What does the city think? Is there any kind of plan to try to make it safer? Or?
Well, there are lots of ways to address that. Very similar to the Michael Etchison intersection. We had DOT come out and do this study, and we've had 70 wrecks at that general area, whether it's Longhorn coming out of Carmichael's, coming out of the McDonald's area of Carmichael's, coming out of Michael Etchison, trying to turn left. People don't know whether or not they're supposed to yield. Anyway, the state came out and did studies and said, we can make some changes, but if you look at those incidences, it's driver error. And yeah, that's right. The folks who've been run over crossing the street, I'm not going to say that alcohol was involved, and I'm not going to say it was not involved, but a couple of folks were to and from the brewery, got hit on Spring Street. The person who got hit running, between Walmart and Waffle House, sorry, you have to question somebody's judgment.
Would you cross the street there?
Yeah, why would I mean, even with the light, you just don't cross.
Exactly.
So, I'll tell you this. There's not another person in town who stays up at night worrying about this area of Broad Street and Highland, because I have children. I mean, they're 20 and 22 now, so hopefully they know to cross the street correctly. But, when they were 4 and 6 and you're holding their hands, I mean, kids try to pull away. I totally get it. And Scoops is there, and the Story Shop is there, and, trying to tell kids to stay next to you sometimes gets to be difficult. Trucks drive too fast, cars drive too fast, teenagers are driving through here. It is a constant worry. But I think we can all thank God that nothing's happened, that nothing disastrous has happened there yet, ever, but we do know that that's a worry.
And so looking into the future, is there any new business or something that we don't know about yet, Mayor? That
yeah,
break the story.
But
with
I'm
us.
sorry, I can't tell you. We will probably have 3 very good announcements for Piedmont Industrial Park, which is right here at Unicia. Where
the new road that they built there off of 70.
Right. Right now we have at Piedmont Industrial, we have Minerva, Walmart Distribution Center, another Walmart Distribution Center. We have Hitachi, of course, which is really our number one corporate partner in town. I mean, they're very, very active.
Is the name of the road any kind of hint?
Oh, no.
Oh, where did the Piedmont come from?
Well, it's Piedmont Industrial Park.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's always been that. We just have never had the entrance.
Okay, so it's been there before. It's been there in the past. It's
right.
just no way to get to that area.
Right. The only part of Piedmont Industrial Park that's ever been accessed is off Hitachi, or off Unicia, which was the former name of Hitachi.
Okay.
So that's why it got that name.
So you can't tell us who it is.
I can't tell you who it is, but I'll also tell you that we have we'll have 3 businesses. One has already been signed and is on the governor's desk. We have 2 others that I think we'll announce by the end of the year, and we have a pretty impressive development going on at Stanton Springs as well. So Shane Short has been
busy,
very, very busy. And there are people in town, and I've mentioned this before, I can't go through an interview without really saying how it all works. I'm a cheerleader. I'm very excited to be here. I will have a great council, and we lead the direction of the city. But we also have the city administrator is the one who is the king of day-to-day operations. In Logan Propes, there has not been a better, smarter, more qualified, with more of a focus on the future direction of the city in all aspects than he. And we are extremely lucky to have him. So you think, okay, smartest guy in town, best hire in town. And you think, well, gosh, Sadie Krosick there's nobody better at downtown development than Sadie. And we win awards. And I think, frankly, when we go to Georgia Municipal Association or MEAG, everybody knows about Monroe. Nobody used to know about Monroe. Growing up here, folks wanted to leave. Talked to a senior yesterday who said he can't wait to come back. So that's different. And then you have Shane Short. And Shane, when Shane walks in the room, you know you're not the smartest person in the room, which is a great way to be. I love knowing folks who are as intelligent as he. And then you throw in Dessa Morris, who does all the workforce development. She works with our public schools. She works with our technical colleges. She puts on job fairs regionally and locally. So we have a lot of different players at the table that are steering Monroe in the same direction, and it is a really good time to be here. And frankly, another thing, you look at our ratings. Our R.V. Watts is our chief of police. Our crime rate is down 20% in the last 2 years, 2.5 years since he became chief. Chief Dykes, our training is up with the fire department. Our response rate is down with the fire department. Our fiber to the home project that we approved it 4-5 months ago. Now, although we have the supply chain issues, but now our cabinets are coming in, our glass is coming in. They are in their first neighborhood right now, but we're rolling that out just as quickly as we possibly can. So Monroe not only is really a cool place to live now, we're ready for the future. And one thing that we're also doing, and let me know if I'm going too long, we're controlling growth. We're not approving every development that comes in. We're not approving any substandard homes. We have a high definitions of what we allow and what we expect. And that's been fantastic. The builders who are coming in are in agreement with the principles that we've put in place. But we also have, I guess it's what we call sins of the father. There's some developments that are coming out of the ground. They still have to abide by our codes and ordinances, but they were approved 15 years ago. So do I really want 152 homes going on Church Street across from another development that has 85 homes? No, probably would not be my choice. But as I said, with the jail, we will deal with everything that comes. I worked at Walt Disney World, and when you work at Walt Disney World, there are 4 tenets. It's safety first, of course. Safety, show, efficiency, and quality. And as long as safety is first, then we'll deal with efficiencies. So that's kind of where we're headed.
Well, thank you, Mayor, for being here.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Very informative.
Anytime you need to talk, I'm more than happy.